Everyone, it's Blendon here from Elite 4 TV. Quick one, I'll try to keep it under 10 minutes. So just finished the Nightmare Cup spreadsheet, so it took me a while. I'm so sorry, there's tons of work on, and then you got regionals to prepare for as well. Man, it's just been really tough to try and put together anything, but hopefully this is going to help you. So if you guys have been in this channel, you guys know what the spreadsheet is a team builder. So I've got the data sheet ready to go. Basically, these numbers, what they represent is going on PvPoke, go on multi-battle, and if you select custom, you build a list of Pokemon. And I built a Nightmare, top 20, but I shrunk down the list to 18. So I basically put the typing on the left side, and then you can see the top 18 Pokemon that I rated as the meta. So orange meaning this Pokemon at the top is going to lose to these Pokemon. So you can see, Chimenko, he is not doing very well in this cup. He's got some specific matchup. He's, obviously good against the fighting, but against the rest of the field, it's pretty tough. What are some good Pokemon for the Nightmare Cup? So I've actually made a list over here at the bottom. These are the top 10 I rated, basically based on the matchups that they had and also based on the battle rating. So let's have a look at Shiftry, Spiritomb, and Umbreon. Why do I rate these guys so high? So let's have a look at down here. If you look at Umbreon, Spiritomb, Skuntank, these guys, they don't have much orange cells. What that means is they don't have much losing matchup. And if it's showing white, it means they have a matchup that they're not winning by a whole lot. So Skuntank, you can sort of say it's a safe switch. And it's only going to be weak against the fighters. If they don't pack a fighter as a switch, then Skuntank is going to own. Or if you can take out their fighter, Skuntank is a very decent Pokemon to have in the back. And then you can see Umbreon, he's got some really positive matchup that pulls his average up. Same as Spiritomb. Spiritomb's got some really positive matchup, and it doesn't have any very negative matchup except against the pure dark types such as Shiftry, Raticate, and Umbreon. So those guys are going to be able to farm Spiritomb, and especially Raticate. If you look at Raticate, how does it perform against Spiritomb? Basically, it's going to do a ton of damage to the Spiritomb, plus it's going to be able to just tank it, in a no shield scenario, 2 shield scenario. It's going to tank a whole lot of Omnius Wind and Shadow Ball. So that's very interesting. So this is the data sheet. You can analyze this and then see what sort of Pokemon you can use. I mean, if you're a beginner in the meta or in Sylph League Arena, I recommend using Pokemon that have more of a average, higher battle rating. Some of the more advanced Pokemon, such as Drapion, Drapion has a lower battle rating. Overall, against the field, it doesn't perform that awesomely, but in the hands of a good player, such as Kieng IV, which we're going to look at the match up afterwards, you can see in the YouTube, these Pokemon are very good. So I would recommend Skuntank over Drapion if you're newer. If you are wanting to, test your skills, Drapion is a good one because with a little bit of energy advantage, it's a really solid Pokemon. So definitely tons of practice with Drapion. Now, if you go down here, if you want to build a team straight away to see how well it's going to perform against the field and how much coverage it has, you can basically look at one of the teams like Double Dark. You might heard from Kieng IV. I'm sure you guys all watch him. Kieng IV's been running a Toxic Croak League, and then he's got the Spiritomb as a switch, and then he's also have the Drapion. And how does this team perform? So you can see the orange is covered by Drapion and Toxic Croak. So what is it losing to? Drapion's losing to Heracross, Hitmonchan, and it's covered by Toxic Croak. So what is this team weak against? As a trio, you can see its weakest matchup are Poliwrath and Raticate. And because Raticate can basically tank Drapion and Spiritomb. But Toxic Croak was able to cover for that and take it out really quick. So in this lineup, you can see it's very, very important that you protect the Toxic Croak against the Dark and the fighters like Poliwrath. And Poliwrath is going to be able to be taken out by Toxic Croak, as you can see here. So this is a quick way to analyze whether or not your team has enough coverage. Okay, so team builder, I use Kieng IV as an example again. So he's just finished his tournament. As you guys can see, he's been running Raticate, Spiritomb, Hypno, Xatu, Drapion, and Toxic Croak. And we can look at, where are the strength and the weakness on these teams. So let's have a look. If you have a look at Kieng IV's team, which I've plugged in as a sample team here, he ran Raticate, Spiritomb. Okay, so let's have a look. Where are the weakness? You can look on the left side. The losing matchup are the Pokemon that it's weak against. So Raticate does extremely well against his team because the only Pokemon that will take out the Raticate is basically the Toxic Croak, right? And you also have Skuntank. Skuntank is a very positive matchup against Kieng's team, and he really needs either Raticate or Toxic Croak to take it out. Also, you have Umbreon, so dark Pokemon against Kieng IV's team. And so, he's forced to bring his Toxic Croak almost every game, right? And you will see that in majority of his matches. He had to bring the Toxic Croak, otherwise he's very vulnerable to the dark Pokemon. And one of his favorite lineup, as you can see in the video, is Toxic Croak, Hypno, and Drapion. And you can see that this lineup, you have to save the Toxic Croak for the Raticate, for the dark Pokemon. And he does that really, really well. He almost never ever switches Toxic Croak in, but he would, put Toxic Croak as a lead or in the back because he protects this Pokemon to make sure this has match up with the dark Pokemon to take it out. So that's very, very important when you're playing one Pokemon as a counter for, to defend the other two. So let's have a look at the opponent's analysis. So the coolest match to watch is probably when he played against Guang87. Guang did very well. He has a very interesting lineup, and we've seen Guang in some of Kieng IV's video. Like, I started watching this guy playing against Kieng IV back in Twilight. They had some interesting matches there. This guy was, I remember, if I didn't remember wrong, he was one of the guys that ran Haunter very early on in the cup, and that was quite interesting. So, he looked like he's one of the pioneers to run Claydol. I mean, this is an interesting mix, right? Like, it's not the Pokemon that we've seen people talk about on PvP Discord. So it's definitely an interesting team. And so how does it line up against Kieng IV's team? So let's have a look. So I need to change this Raticate really quick. Oh, it is Raticate. I thought it was Raichu, sorry. So Raticate is correct. This is Kieng IV's team, and you can run Guang's team here. What are the most positive matchup against Guang's team? So what am I looking for? I'm looking for the Pokemon with the most blue and the least orange. And straight away, you can see Raticate actually performs very well against Guang's team because it's only going to lose to the Toxic Croak. It almost has a neutral matchup against everything except in a 2-shield matchup against Raichu. And the second one made a lot of sense, would be Spiritomb. What Spiritomb would lose to is Skuntank and also Umbreon, where Raticate is able to cover for that. So Spiritomb, Raticate, running a double dark, you're probably wanting a fighter or even a psychic Pokemon, and you have to, if you run Toxic Croak against Toxic Croak, that's a little bit risky because if he's only running Toxic Croak as a fighter, you might want to run, say, your Hypno or the Xatu. So that would be very good coverage. But in saying that, that's not the team that Kieng ran. Kieng ran the team that he was most comfortable with, which was the Toxic Croak, Hypno, Drapion. And you can see that Guang ran the Toxic Croak, Xatu, and he switched out the Skuntank for Umbreon sometimes. And it made sense for Guang to run Umbreon, because looking at Umbreon against this team, basically, it's a very, very positive matchup against Kieng IV's team, and it's also a very good lead against Spiritomb, because Spiritomb is the obvious lead. Obviously, Spiritomb has a lot of neutral matchup, and Guang decided to run with Umbreon lead, and it made a lot of sense. But Kieng just ran Toxicroak, and he had a switch advantage. You can watch him in this video. I think it was a very, very good match to watch, and he had some really, really solid insight. So hopefully that gives you a better understanding of how this team builder works. I mean, I would be interested to see Kieng run this match again, using Spiritomb and Raticate against Guang, because those two Pokemon are very strong matchup against, Guang. So I don't know, but let me know what you guys think. And also, if you guys have any questions about this, please drop a comment, and it will help me to cover for more content, as well as if you guys want to, what sort of content you guys want to see. I've been super stacked with everything, but I will try my best and put together more content for you guys. So again, I appreciate it. If you guys enjoy this, like and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Signing out.